Okie dokie, 2 seconds and I will be in shot. I've just propped it up so that my arm wouldn't ache to death whilst I was holding it. Because thanks to Angie and No Little Ben, the two things combined has meant that actually I don't have to walk and talk. I can just sit and talk and then walk with hiccups. And so that's what I'm doing. It's really warm. It does not feel like November at all. And so, yeah, this is going to be about targeted individuals and leaving cults. Let me just check the time because I've only got 25 minutes. Okie dokie. I mean, for each segment, it doesn't do more than that. So it's 3:45 now. And besides, we'll be losing light. It's not ideal. It's really damp because, well, it's just really wet. It's been raining. And so I'm sitting on my coat for that reason. But it's warm, so it doesn't matter. After I filmed yesterday, I didn't go home. I ended up walking into the town centre, and there's an Aldi store that's just opened, and I went in to have a look, and long story short, I was halfway around there. I mean, I only had a hand basket. I was just grabbing a few items because, you know, Aldi's all right. I don't mind shopping there for a few bits and bats. It's better than any other supermarkets. Yeah, not for price. I mean, for quality. If you shop wisely. But hey, I'm not doing a shout out for any companies at all. It's just that it's just opened in town, and the only choice before was the Co-op or like a Sainsbury's thing. Gone off Sainsbury's, can't imagine why. No, I don't think Sainsbury's were trying to poison me. I think it's microwave weaponry. Anyhow, I'm halfway around there, and it suddenly dawned on me, oh my god, you're going to bump into people from work. Well, within 2 minutes of me having that thought, sure enough, I did. I bumped it. Now, we have quite a lot of foreigners from the Czech Republic, that kind of area, that worked at work for years. They're like me. They left a few times and they always end up going back. Well, they're not the same as me, obviously, but because they asked to go back. But the point is that, yeah, I bump into them. Now, these are lads I've got no problem with at all. No problem with them. But it's the first time I've seen anyone from work since I left. I haven't seen anybody, apart from my show jumping friend who I used to work with the racehorses with. That's how I met her. But she's always been a show jumper, and I've always been a racehorse rider, and we've combined and became friends. But that's different because it's always been more outside work, and we very rarely work together in that environment. But we have enough to know what the environment is, and it's, you know, to know what the world is that we worked within, and some still work within. Anyway, long story short, so that happened. I don't want to go into too many details. It was just, I asked them how work was, and it was blatantly obvious. They were actually, I don't want to say they were afraid to say. It was, I thought whilst I was in there that they were scared that our bosses might overhear them. Because, you know, we live in a small place, and of course, anyone who knows where we worked could easily have overheard us. And so the initial impression I got was that that's why they were afraid. I mean, they weren't showing, they were chatting to me, and it was just that I could see the fear in their eyes. And you have to understand, I've worked with these lads for years, and we've been friends for years, because I did get on with the foreigners. Yeah, okay, we argued sometimes, but don't all friendships argue sometimes? Real friendships. And then it's all right, isn't it? Because you get frustrated when you're working in that kind of environment, and people that actually care about one another can like let off a little bit of steam every now and then. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal, but when you work in that environment, it's just how it is. You know, it's just the reality. You have like the people that are just nasty, and it's not that they're just nasty. It's just that they've been taught to be a certain way, and they're frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. You've got the jockeys who all are trying to be someone. And then you've got like people like me who just have a gift at what they do. But because of like how I am, it's do it properly or don't do it at all. Which meant that the lads who wanted to finish early or finish on time, which now I'm out of that, I'm like, oh my God, Nina, what were you thinking? We were all underpaid and overworked. And all I could think about was the horses. And we're not cutting corners. Terrible. I look back and I cringe. I mean, I wasn't horrible or nasty, but I was so indoctrinated to keep the system going, whilst at the same time fighting against the system even whilst working in it. Because I was regularly told to shut up and stop giving kids their rights. Because I was 23 when I started working there, and most people are 16 when they start working there. And so, yeah, I mean, I did get told to literally a fair few times back in my 20s. I just got more discreet, and also things changed. So, without too many details being said, things changed. The minimum wage came in, which actually didn't do us any favours because we were actually getting paid more before it came in. Not more than it is now, but at the time we were always underpaid and overworked. That really isn't the point, which I'm actually digressing. The point is I bumped into them from work, and it's really tragic when you could lose your life in a millisecond, which you could in that job. Trust me, you really could. People do, people that I know have. Anyhow, I've not seen anyone from work since I worked there. Haven't seen the horses from work since I worked there. Not the ones in training, only the ones out in the fields. And so it was emotional, and we hugged and like pecked cheeks, because that's what you do when you're from you peck cheeks. And then I asked them how they were doing, and the pain and hurt, they didn't have to say how they were doing. I asked them how many lots they were riding a day. I asked them what time they were finishing up for lunch. Things which you don't have to be afraid to answer. And I could see, I just thought they were afraid of being overheard at the time, until I left. I won't go into more details than what I just have, because there's no need. Until I got home and I realised there was more behind it. There was more behind the fear. And then I clicked and I was like, oh my God, of course they are. Of course they're afraid to speak to me. If they had been caught by our bosses, it would have been bad news for them at work. Not, I hope, literally that. I just mean their lives would have been made misery. I am the most... You can't leave a sport, an industry like that and speak out about it. How many people speak out about racing? How many? Very few. How many people speak out about racing and stay alive doing so? Even less. Yeah. So that was the first thing that happened last night after I finished filming. And then, so that's the cult aspect right there. Just one aspect of the cult aspect, because, it is a cult life. As so many people's families, we don't want to think our families are cult. But if you think of it like a mafioso family, like The Godfather, without the overt killings, then it's easy to align families like mine to cults. But we don't get brought up saying, you're in a cult? Of course not. Oh, you're going to work in horse racing? It's a cult? Of course not. We all think cults are religious institutions with brainwashed, stupid people there. And it's not like that. The reality is, most of the world, I can't speak for most of the world, but I can speak for where I live and everyone I know. And I don't know anybody who's not cult indoctrinated and used still. I'm the only person who's walked away and left. The only person. The leaves are falling like crazy. It would be beautiful sound if it wasn't for the fact that usually when I sit here I have a little person up there crawling around in the woods, which is why we'll get around to targeting. So, targeting, it's been nuts anyhow. I mean, feeling poisoned, hair falling out, head on fire. When I say head on fire, I literally mean it felt like my head was on fire, like flames were coming out of my head the whole time, 24/7 in the end. Until I made the video about it, and then it stopped. Overnight stopped. No, sorry, overnight calmed down, and then when she ripped all my hair out, overnight stopped. No more fire on the head. And that's when I felt poisoned beyond belief, immediately. But it builds up in your system. I don't think that it's literal poisoning where you could get a blood test and get a result. I think it's all weaponry with vibrations. It's not hard to do. Everything is but a simple vibration to change. You know, if they wanted us to dance around our bedrooms or houses for a week, they could make us do that, and we would have no choice in the matter unless God saved us. So what I've really had going on a lot has been anyone who was still cult involved themselves but trying to get out, and I was trying to help out, which I do have. I've got a couple of close friends. I don't have many. Well, maybe a few, not many, because I've never had many friends through choice. Because most people, I hate to say this, but most people just didn't get it. And it's not like I always walked around saying cult instead of family or cult instead of racing. I haven't. And now I look back and I see how asleep I was, but at the time I was always so much more awake than everyone else. And so it's all relative, isn't it? Like now, it's like a no-brainer. I look back and I'm like, oh, bless you, Needy. You were so asleep. But yet, I was still wide awake compared to the rest of the world. Which is why I shouldn't feel sensitive when not many people get me now, because it will always be this way for me. I'm 38 years old. It's been like this my whole life. I should be used to it. It's just not my whole life have I been putting myself on the line like I do with my YouTube videos, where I'm sharing the most personal stuff in the world, and I'm doing it publicly. I have to, because there's so many going through this who can't speak out because they're afraid to, or because they just can't. Not everyone can. Not everyone's wired to be able to do this like what I am. And it's not an easy road. It's not an easy ride. I can say that right now. But for me, there's no going back. There's no going back. I can't be a slave. I can't do it. So I've chosen my path. God's chosen my path. I was born to be what I am, and that was not to be what the cult tried to make me, a new age Christian racehorsing guru. It's just insane, it's so obviously Luciferian, satanic, whatever you want to call it. It's the same system. Anyway, so today I've been really getting punished even more than usual, because they keep changing the tactics, because I keep making videos. The more they try and silence me, the more I'll speak out. The more I speak out, the more they'll punish me. It's just that simple. I counter move to change punishment, and then they change their punishment to counter move back. It's like a game of chess. It's just that simple. It's a game of chess. But it's not that simple, because they think, no, they don't think, they know they're going to lose. Especially to me, I'm a chess pro. I'm kidding. I was as a kid though, but I'm terrible now. I haven't played for so long. Well, I have been playing actually a little bit recently, but that's beside the point. The point is, it's a move and a counter move. If you want to spread awareness, you're constantly counter moving to stay alive. But what everyone sometimes forgets is, we're not alone in this. We've got God. We've got Jesus. We're not on our own. And so, yeah, basically, it's like a game of chess, but the game of chess is going on, and it's all overlooked. And it's being overlooked by someone who can step in at any point in time, and does. It's just people don't always realise that they have stepped in. a lot of people don't recognise the miracles which happen every day in their lives. And then other miracles are really overt, like, for example, when I got rescued from the car wreck, which was meant to kill me, or if not to kill me, then very much scare me. I think it was meant to kill me, bearing in mind an angel saved me. And I mean an angel, not a demon. You know, demons do mask as angels. This was no demon that saved me. I know that. I'm never... I know that. You know, one thing in my defence, well, not in my defence, just I was here not to be what they wanted me to be. There's not many people who know Christ's truth rather than brainwashed corruptions in Christ's name that religions and churches try and spread. Sorry. Oh God, my feet are slipping. Just check the time. Okay, for about 2 minutes. And so, yeah, that's what we have to remember, the fact that we're not on our own and we are being overlooked, and so long as we're on the right track, or so long as it's right, it doesn't matter if we're on the right track or not, really, because our lives are all a journey and like a game, which we get given all these tests, and sometimes we get the same test over and over again, and at some point we have to pass it, or else we may fail. Or at some point, it doesn't matter how well we're doing, we might get taken out, and God might let it happen, because by us going, people actually wake up and listen. I need to check the time. It's been going on a little bit, well, it's been going on a few weeks now. The few that I'm still proper friends with, and by proper friends, I mean speak to daily, not just on Facebook or, well, I don't speak to hardly anyone on Facebook anyhow. Maybe like have the odd person speak to once a week. But for me, friendships aren't, I've got many people that I love and adore. Well, not many. By many for me, I mean like maybe a couple of handfuls. And some of us speak maybe twice a year, but we know one another. And then others speak maybe once a week, you know. But what I don't have is people I speak to every single day in my life. Only ever like a couple usually speak to every day. I've never had more than a couple. So the long and short of it all is that obviously you can't walk away from your family, aka cult, when you come from like a background like mine and you live in an area like mine. It's cult. It's taken me a long time to be able to say that. I know it. The second I got out of the fact that by it, I wasn't ever a conscious member of any cult. I was born into a cult. I was brought up in a cult. Don't know any different. And no, I'm not talking conscious rituals. I'm talking a very, very unified front and everything very proper and correct. And listen to the birdies. So beautiful. I didn't go into racing and think I was going into a cult, but I was groomed to go in racing from being born. These things don't just happen by accident. So yeah, back to the point, being targeting. So obviously from my previous videos recently, everyone knows I've been getting targeted a lot. Some people think that maybe I'm just a hypochondriac or something, couldn't be from the truth, but you know, I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm here for the people like me who know what's going on and who are going for it themselves, because we can't try and convince anyone that we don't know that we're not paranoid and we're not delusional, and this isn't just being hypochondriacs or anything like that. I come from a family of doctors, so I'll tell you something. I'm not afraid of doctors at all, but I wouldn't like volunteer to go in and take any drugs for them. No way. Just never, ever. You know, it just wouldn't happen. But no, I haven't got a phobia of doctors. I always give everyone a fair chance. I always have. That's always been part of my thing, you know. I give people a fair chance, and I judge people by how they are, and blah, blah, blah. I have to try and be quick. So, yeah, basically, they create scenarios, which isn't hard to do. Sorry, it's me that I like that. It's not hard to create scenarios when you've got programmed people. Say, for example, today, I have to jump forwards because I'm running out of time. Today and last night, in fact, as well. And this is, I'm going to use myself as the example, but it doesn't just happen with me. It happens with, like, my closest friends too. Where you only see one thing and you can't see everything beyond or before or after that. You've got an insecurity and it's valid, but it's not like quite as it seems at that moment in time. And then today what happened to me was basically words were getting missed out. So I'm reading texts and words were missing from what I was reading. And then it was causing problems because misunderstandings happened then. Now I understand this all too well because I grew up with my mother who's always been this way, where she doesn't hear me and doesn't see me. She hears and sees what she wants to see. But it's not quite that simple. She hears and sees what she's programmed to see. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm deprogramming and being targeted massively. And earlier on today, it was just insane because I couldn't see. I felt like I was on an opiate-based drug. I was itching all over my skin, but not in the same way as the poisoning, because that's like finished now. It's moved on. I counter-moved, so they counter-moved back. I felt drugged up to the high hilts. It was just so bizarre. It was just so bizarre. I don't know how else to word it. And then whilst all this is going on, they literally switched the volume off in my right ear, and then they switched it back on in my right ear, but off in my left ear, and did that like a few times. And so it was like, oh wow, it was out of this world bizarre. And my eyes were like, I didn't even look like me. It was just the most bizarre experience of my life for trippiness. And this is talking to somebody, you know, I'm talking about someone here who's not done magic mushrooms and that kind of thing, because I did as a kid. That's what I was taught to do. I was indoctrinated to do what I did. I mean, I was always like very dualistic. But I say that and then I think, well, actually I was tripleistic and quadrupleistic. Because when you've got like so much going on and you're rotating like one of those rotating doors, you can do certain things and then be completely normal. It's really bizarre. It's hard to explain. And I do want to make a video about how dissociative identity disorder really works, as opposed to the Hollywood perceptions, which are not untrue, but very extreme and very, very, very manipulated to seem one way when really they're another. All the leaves are falling down around us. Wow. Oh, one just landed on the camera lens. It's been an awful day because when you've got someone that you really love, and it's happening to me a lot at the moment, anyone that I care about and love, they get taken away because they want me truly isolated. They want me to run back home to Mummy and Daddy. Except it's never been like that anyhow. I was being a little bit sarcastic. They're making it as difficult as they can, you know. And that's understandable. If I was them, I'd be scared too of me, because the things which I haven't said, which I could say, are just mind-blowing. But I didn't know that when I was still there. I know that now. And that's what I think freaks them out. And yeah, it's freaky for me too, because it's like, what else is going to come to light beyond what I already know? Because I already know far too much. I already know far too much. They want me gone. And I just hope and pray that if that happens, people can hear my videos, download my videos and hear my videos and realise Nina wasn't nuts. She was bang on. It's just she was in a very difficult position, because you are jostling for your life. And that's why I always only speak when inspired, because God inspires me. And if I started just talking for the sake of talking, then it wouldn't work out so well. So I do what I do and I stay alive, because what good am I? Like, at this moment in time, what good am I dead? I just had this vision and I thought, it's turn around, so it's in behind me. So it must almost be out of time, surely. I don't like speaking under pressure. It makes it hard to speak. But I think what I'm going to do is, we can go for a walk. I'll try and clear some more memory card space up and speak a little bit more like calm and slow, instead of trying to speak so fast and get it all out there. Let me just check the time anyway. But not only that, it's going to be dark here soon, because we're like knocking on time-wise. Ow! Oh, we're not doing too bad. We've got 4 minutes left. Just 1 moment, she says. Almost goes by. And actually, we timed it perfectly because... Hang on a sec. So yeah, 4 minutes. We timed it perfectly purely because it's going to be too dark to film here anyhow. Look, let me just show you the leaf that fell. That was like resting on the lens of the camera. I wish that I could just stand here really quietly. Well, I will do once the camera's off, but the point is, listen. I love it. I just love it so much. That's what really hurt when I saw everyone from work yesterday. Oh God, it was such a huge wound. Their pain and torture was like, oh my God, it was like me when I was there. And then also the double-edged sword. Everything's double bind for me. Everything. Being the horses, you know. Love the horses, but you don't have to be in racing to love the horses. They're everywhere. You can love them in a healthy environment. You don't have to love them in a racing environment. But it's still heartbreaking, you know? Actually, from a human element, because no one thinks about the humans in racing and how exploited they are and brainwashed they are and tortured every day and double-binded every single day of their lives, every minute, every second. So yeah, it's been an intense time. Anyway, we'll wrap this up before I get cut off. And thank you for watching. And if I do an extra part, I'll obviously tag it along. But as things stand, I might just go and read for a little bit. I want to go for a walk, really. It's just, yeah. Alright, thanks for watching. And I hope that you can see where it's been perched. Oh, we've still got some time left. But I'll hoard it then, so that it is getting dark though. Well, let's do a little scan about anyhow. Bored of seeing my face on it, so you must be. Look, it's a pyramid. A pyramid. Or a teepee. Let's go for the teepee. Oh my God, now it's a capstone pyramid. You know, the reality is, where I'm living, I will survive this, God willing. I'm not a drama queen, I never have been. I'm just a realist, and I know what's going on. And as you awaken more and more, you know more and more. When you've been at this as long as I have, you get to a point where you can be completely misunderstandable, and I understand that. So for the few like me, I speak out. And for the ones who will end up in the same scenario as I am, where they know and get as much as I do, I speak out, because one day, I hope and pray my videos will help more people than now. And I think it is worth putting your life on the line for, you know. I'm no sacrificial lamb, I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid of death, because there is no death, only of the flesh. But my job here is not yet done, and they can try to torture me all they want. It is trauma-based mind control after all, but they haven't got the end say, you know. Everyone remember that, please. Alright then, thanks for watching. Take care, God bless. We can end on this wonderful plane. Well, being a little bit sarky. I'll show you the leaves from where I was sat yesterday. Look, aren't they gorgeous? We are almost out of time now. We've got 10 seconds left. I was trying to take a picture about the leaves, but I couldn't because I'm just not like, not got long enough arms. But we tried, and let's get the sky now. Thanks for watching, and oh, we've still got 50 seconds. May as well use them, haven't we? Why not? We've got dogs barking, I heard them too. I tell you what trips me out sometimes, look at this. Well, I can't because I'd have to turn it and I can't. But there's so much that people don't see that just stares them in the face all the time. I love autumn. I was born on the autumn equinox. So, autumnal equinox. It's my birthday. Alright, we are out of time. Finally, we're out of time. So I'll probably make like another 3 parts, no I'm kidding. But I might, yeah. Enough said for now. Thanks for watching and take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.